Congratulations about the nomination.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, Tomohiro Machiyama from Japan. Yeah, so I think this was a very difficult project. I think so. Making a movie about the vice president. So was it difficult or did you think it's risky?
I mean, definitely. I mean, the reason we liked it was because it was difficult. And we knew that it was a main character who normally you wouldn't pay attention to. Normally would be considered boring. And yet at the same time, this boring guy that you wouldn't pay attention to changed the course of history. And I think that's what really excited us about this project.
People say the Dick Cheney is kind of Darth Vader, very cold and clever, manipulator. But in this movie, he began with a very mediocre, C student, drunk, and
Sure.
and likes fly fishing. So that's very interesting, I think.
Yeah, I mean, here's what we tried to do. It's very easy to paint certain people as heroes or villains or good or bad. I really don't believe that's the way people work. I think we all want to be good. We all want to do the right thing. And I think what interested Christian and myself and Amy about this story was, how did these people that came from a decent town end up in the place they ended up at by the end of the movie, where leading a nation to war and hundreds of thousands of people dying? How does that happen? How does that go to that? And it's a fascinating story, what we learned about him.
What's the meaning of the heart in this movie?
Well, the heart has a couple different meanings, but the main thing, I think, the heart is America, obviously, in the end. You see the kind of simple American guy give up his heart. But I think the heart means about 3 or 4 other things as well. I think the heart is his mortality. I think the heart is the ambition of America. The fun thing about movies is, even though I made it, I have an idea of what I think it means. I love it when an audience doesn't agree with me. I could be wrong, even though we made it. So I would love to hear what the audience thinks that the heart means, because I definitely could be wrong.
But I heard you put your own heart in this movie.
Yes. I unfortunately had a bit of a heart scare, and because of Christian Bale's advice, or not advice, because of his character work as Cheney, he had told me that sometimes a heart attack isn't a pain in the arm or chest. It can actually be a queasiness in the stomach. So when it happened to me, I knew immediately what it was, and I ran upstairs, I got baby aspirin, and I called the doctor, and my heart was okay. And he was like, "Why did you call me? How did you know?" And I was like, "Well, my lead actor, Christian Bale, he knew." And then we had this footage of my actual heart attack, and we needed the footage for the movie, so I put it in there. Yeah, it's literally my heart is in this movie. Yeah.
This kind of movie is impossible in Japan to make, because Japan is a very conservative and conformist country. People are always afraid of the being sued and backlashing, and also it's very hard to finance and get the actors. So could you encourage the Japanese movie makers to do movies like this?
Well, here's what I would say. You have to question power. You have to. When power is not questioned, it will run amok, it will cause danger, it will cause destruction. So even when power is quiet and silent, even when we have to risk everything to question power, you have to. You just have to do it. And it's a drag. Sometimes you lose your job, sometimes you are shamed, but history always speaks well for you. At the end of the day, you will be looked at in the right light. And I think that happens in our country too. There's too many times that people keep their mouths shut because they're afraid of power, and we just can't do it. And as artists, especially, if you're a filmmaker, if you're a painter, a poet, a novelist, an actor, anything, your job is to question power, first and foremost.
How about Donald Trump?
Donald Trump, I'm not sure if he's really power. Donald Trump is a gaseous bubble that is about to pop. He's beyond questioning. I more than question Donald Trump. I actually think Donald Trump is beneath criticism. He's a byproduct of what's in our movie. Donald Trump's not for real. He's a disgusting aberration. But there's power behind him that needs to be questioned and challenged.
So you want to make a movie about him next?
I think it would be a bore. I think he's just a messed up guy. I don't know. I think global warming is the next big subject. I really do. I think that's the thing in about 3 or 4 years we're all going to be talking about. I really do.
What do you say? I want you to be my VP. The vice presidency is mostly a symbolic job. However, if we were to come to a different understanding, I can handle mundane jobs like overseeing military, energy, foreign policy. I like that.
アメリカ史上最強の副大統領。
This isn't something that a vice president really does, is it?
No, it is now.
バイス